Are they finally gonna do it? Are they gonna finally do a good video game to show / movie adaptation? The Last of Us. Now this has real promise of being very good in transition. Now already, when you start watching it, you can tell that the video game is scarier than the show, like by a lot. But I think that might be okay for now, because it seems like even they've translated it pretty much picture perfect. Not picture perfect, couple scenes. I've not played the full game, but I have watched some playthroughs to the beginning, so I can see the comparison between. And it did pretty well. So we're gonna go and look at the episode 1 and give you a little bit recap, just in case you missed it, and things you might want to know about the episode, so you can get caught up already, even though it's only been one episode. So, it starts kind of talking about this potential for, like, everyone's afraid of virus outbreak and, like, setting up the post-apocalyptic scene. And usually, they talk about viruses, and that's the trope of every single, like, zombie movie. Viruses. But this time they're trying to say fungus. Specifically, the fungus that is a zombie mushroom that controls ants and kind of makes them do their mind controls them so they can spread their seed and grow more zombie mushrooms around. It's actually a real fungus. They saying, what if it would be able to enter humans and control them? What would happen? And oh, we're screwed, whatever, yeah. So it kind of goes, the main character we're going to be following through is Joel. And Joel, him and his daughter, just having a normal day. And eventually they kind of just like, they're having strange occurrences happening throughout the day. And of course, the television isn't really showing so much. They're like subtly hinting at things happening. And Joel's daughter was supposed to go visit the neighbors. Kind of against her will, kind of not. It's like one of those things where it's like a fun time, but not really. Like, it can be. So she went to go visit the neighbors, and you can kind of see that something's wrong with Nana. Like, Nana is, is kind of like lost. She's like a very old lady that's just like, basically just like disabled. But slowly they set up this scene for you to know that Nana is going to be the first one that is infected. And the way they set it up was pretty good, because it kept some of the eeriness of the game and put it in. Now, of course, because you're not actually like moving a character through the game in the dark rooms, you definitely don't get the same feel. But they did their best, I guess. Maybe they could have done better, but I think they did at least a decent job. So once it gets revealed that like there's like helicopters everywhere and what's going on, Nana becomes a little bit cray-cray, and then she infects the rest of her family. And Joel's daughter sees this when she comes to return the neighbor's dog that ran away from Nana. Now, there was a part in the show that actually kind of diverged from the gameplay. So throughout this point, you're kind of saying, yeah, this is the same as the gameplay, where then they start realizing what's going on. Joel went to go bail his brother out of jail, and that kind of left Sarah home alone. Now, between these scenes, like, for the first intro, they have like in 1968 they're doing a talk show, and they go to 2003. And now, when they pick her up because they're escaping the neighbors that were infected by the grandma from the fungus, it's just, this is the stereotypical zombie apocalyptic scenes. It's funny because they actually tried to make this like the game. The point of view was kind of like, it was exactly like the video game. This is like them driving the car, but like actually in video game point of view, which I think was kind of a good, interesting way to do it. I think there's a good artistic design to pick that way. So, they continue onward, and a soldier finds them and, shoots at Joel and his daughter Sarah, eventually killing her. After Joel's brother tried to save them by killing the soldier. Because of course no one knows what's going on, so they don't know who's infected or not. Although, I think it's kind of stupid that a commander wouldn't have the level head to just shoot all civilians, But, so they fast forward 20 years, and now we're going into the story. So does a time skip after she dies to 2023. And this is kind of just like after Fedra has taken control, the Federal Enforcement Drug Disaster Response Agency. And then they have, of course, some rebellion called Fireflies. And throughout this episode, they kind of show a battle between those two, with Fedra obviously being much stronger than the Fireflies. So Joel already kind of has, a new partner named Tess, and they're kind of going to be like probably the main protagonists. And this new girl Ellie was locked up by the Fireflies for some reason. After a lot of scenes that kind of are just world building, we're just kind of just setting up the environment, showing how Fireflies are rebelling against Fedra and all these things, and like, oh, Joel is trying to find his brother. They get to the point where they're trying to get back at someone who stole from them. So they try to do that, and this is when the worlds meet. Ellie gets introduced to Joel and Tess. Now, one of the leaders of the Fireflies kind of begs, but like it was like as their last hope, to have Joel and Tess smuggle Ellie across America to a certain location where she will definitely be well protected and been able to continue with their plan. Now, here's the thing. As shown later in the episode, the reason Ellie is so special is because she actually has the fungus inside of her, but it is not taking control of her. So when they scan her, which they do, she actually shows up red in the scanner, but it shows that it's not affecting her. It's been weeks. Usually it takes much less time for this to happen. So they might have found someone who's actually immune to it. So this is kind of how it wraps up. There's a lot in this episode. I think it's like an hour and 20 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes. And that was a very condensed version of it. If you want to watch the first episode, I definitely highly recommend it. It's good to start the show with it, but I think this recap that I've given gives you a pretty good summary of everything that has happened with the Fedra control, the Fireflies being oppressed, but they're doing their last-ditch effort, helping Ellie get smuggled across, and everything that happened in the precursors. So I'm looking forward to the next week and seeing how episode 2 is. But either way, if you want to see more movie reviews or TV show analysis and recaps, be sure to subscribe. And leave in the comments what you thought about episode 1, if you did watch it, of The Last of Us. And how do you think it's going to be finally a good video game show? Like, there's not that many. There's a couple. But we can finally add to it instead of the heavy lopsided bad video game shows and movies. Either way, I'll see you in the next one.